Thank you, Senator. We appreciate you being with us here today. This is the third year for Powering the People, and I think probably the most important yet. Most of you have probably seen the Sherlock Holmes movies where he says he's excited the game's afoot. He knew when the events and circumstances were moving toward a conclusion, when the mystery would reveal itself, and that is precisely where we stand today with our energy policy. It's going to be a fascinating few years, particularly with the new leadership we have in the Senate Energy Committee. It is steadily penetrating the mentality of the media that an energy revolution is actually underway. Many old and familiar assumptions about the availability of fuel and our relatively strategic position in the world no longer are true. They are relics of the past. It is time for all of us to reassess. Time to consider our many new opportunities. Gradually, and I hope I'm not being too optimistic, the public is gaining a better appreciation of what is at stake in the choices before us. Energy, its sufficiency, its reliability, its cost, defines our way of life. We are an energy society. We are not an energy optional society. Any proposal that starts with the proposition that America can do without, or wants less reliable power at greater cost, or generally wants to move backwards, is a proposal that fails to reckon with who Americans are. To underline both of these points, there are a couple of books I suggest for you to read. The first, just published, is The Age of Edison, Electric Light in the Invention of Modern America by Ernest Freeberg. The Age of Edison, said the Washington Post, is not a detailed history of Edison's role in the development of electric lighting, but rather a grand overview of the invention's sweeping repercussions on America's soul. This was the moment, the emergence of electric lighting, when America was first seen in the world as the leader in technological innovation. And we have not looked back since. We built an entire society around technology which requires electric power. This is more than the story of an industry. It is the modern history of our nation. All Americans should know this story, chapter and verse, unless we fail to make the right decisions for our future. Now, there's a second book. It's due out soon. Michael Levy is the author of The Power Surge, Energy, Opportunity, and the Battle for America's Future. An early copy got into the hands of Dan Yergin, who said he captures the emergent turning point in America's energy situation. Former EPA Chief Bill Riley says the book makes a powerfully persuasive case for America's embracing an all-of-the-above energy future. The shale gas boom and renewables revolution together promise a U.S. energy trifecta for the economy, security, and the environment, a future that offers new reasons for Americans to unite. A united America. Now, there's a concept we ought to embrace. I would not hold my breath, but these books and others like them indicate to an optimist like me that we are beginning to have the right discussion in this country, a discussion based on real choices, not the false ones that we've discussed over the last decade. It is essential that we do so, and today we will make a contribution to that end. For 2013, Powering the People is focusing on areas where new technology, partnerships, and innovation are thriving in transportation, in everyday life, and in the electric utility industry. Our first panel, Powering Transportation, Tony Early, Chairman, President, and CEO of PG&E, will demonstrate how electricity is powering transportation beyond electric cars. Electric cars and trucks are making progress, but it is the electrification of fleet vehicles and off-road transportation that is beginning to get a lot of attention. As we all know, transportation is the last sector of our economy to be electrified. I'm sure you saw on the street outside the entrance to the building, we have about a dozen new electric cars. The first Powering the People event just 2 years ago, we only had two, the Chevy Volt and the Nissan Leaf. Tom Kuhn took one of those home with him, and he hasn't given it back since. Electric alternatives to fossil fuels are making inroads off the highway as well. Cranes, forklifts, and many other types of commercial transport are now operating our nation's airports and seaports. Why? Because it makes sense from an economic perspective an environmental perspective, and from a national security perspective. Altogether, electric transportation reduces the sector's impact on the environment and obviously our reliance on foreign oil. Electricity is also the power that connects us. It might be impossible, but try to remember your life before the internet and so-called smartphones. In powering the digital age, electricity has helped us to share information, entertainment, and even ourselves in ways that would have been unimaginable just a decade ago. Innovative electric technologies are putting control of our energy use in the hands of consumers, shaping smarter uses in our homes, businesses, and throughout our societies. Sean Dubrivik from the Consumer Electronics Association will share his insight on what it means to be entering the second digital decade. Put it this way, today in each of our homes, we have more than 25 digital devices changing how we live, work, and communicate almost every minute of the day. Even with all the advances of the modern age, 1/3 of the people on Earth still lack access to reliable electricity. You will hear from Andy Veazey, Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of AES, who will have an announcement to change that. The Edison Foundation is launching a new initiative today, the Universal Access Initiative, a commitment from a group of electric utilities and technology companies to bring electricity to some of the 1.3 billion people in the world without access. On our last panel discussion, Jim Rogers, Chairman, President, and Chief Executive Officer of Duke Energy, will give you a glimpse of what tomorrow may mean for electric utilities. The smart grid is a reality. As the now separate power, digital, and telecommunication systems merge into one intelligent smart grid, the possibilities for transportation are enormous. These systems are already delivering energy savings, a more reliable and resilient grid, and other important benefits for our industries, for our buildings, and for our customers. In the coming years, central power stations are likely to be augmented by smaller, local distributed power generating systems that can provide electricity to a home, a neighborhood, or a small city, improving the reliability and resilience of the grid. Green and renewable energy sources are an ever-increasing part of the power portfolio. In the future, renewable energy will represent an even higher percentage of the energy that powers our nation. New technologies drive innovation and change, but we are a regulated industry. Although regulation is not typically associated with innovation, regulation will affect the rate of innovation in our industry in vital ways. How do utilities and regulators unlock innovation and market opportunities while ensuring the continued delivery of affordable, reliable, secure, safe, and clean energy? To give you some hands-on insight into all of those discussions, this year's Powering the People is also bringing you an even bigger innovation alley. Next door, you can get an up-close look at some of these technologies. We have a lineup of more than 30 exhibits. Powering the People is becoming an industry highlight. We are showcasing the power of electricity, the innovative electric appliances and technologies that our world relies on even more. As providers of electricity, our utilities recognize that our job is critical. We know that our industry lies at the very heart of the economy and that the nation depends upon us. We are adopting new technologies and approaches to position the grid for the 21st century and beyond in ways that drive the economy, protect the environment, and provide a platform for the innovations that will better the world. I'd now like to introduce Mr. Bob Rowe. Bob co-chairs IEE and is president and CEO of Northwestern Energy. As you'll learn this afternoon, the power industry is moving ahead with some very exciting ventures. Bob will be giving you his insights on some of those opportunities, as well as the challenges our industry may be facing in achieving them. Bob has more than 20 years of experience in industry and knows well the opportunities and challenges facing the electric power sector. Prior to Northwestern, he was chairman and commissioner of the Montana Public Service Commission, and he served as the president of the National Association of Regulatory Utility Commissioners. So with that, I give you my colleague, Bob Rowe.